Welcome to another episode of Music Therapy. I am John Thune, a mental health therapist, and today we are listening to Money Games Part 3 by REN per your recommendation. If you have another song you want to see me react to, please drop it in the comments. I respond to all the comments and I look forward to seeing you there. We have a great community up and coming here. Let's get right into it. Wow, what an intro here. I had no idea Ren could play the piano, let alone with a facial and eye covering there. So incredible and so haunting already. I got goosebumps when he hit that first vocal because he has such a powerful way of invoking emotions in me and everyone. It's his musical gift.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him,
Wow, so immediately we're hearing about Jimmy. And Jimmy, based on his first words, seems a little greedy. And that seems to be a theme connecting all of these money games. The money game songs that Ren has put out, 1, 2, and 3, is that the greed is corrupting us into people we don't want to be. And that's what he's getting at here, I think, with this example of Jimmy.
was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when
Wow, that deep voice Ren got there was quite harrowing. And this notion that guys need to be tough and not expressing emotions and that you got to work for what you want and that's true, but the idea that we can't express emotions is tormenting. It tortures guys all across the world.
works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical.
Wow, that right there was quite a shift. So in high school, his dad said, "Hey, money is the reason we're alive." And what a misguided image that father is parenting his Jimmy about.
Equations at 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software.
So an IQ of 150 is in the genius category. So Jimmy is highly academically gifted and has a very high IQ, and it shows with this complex software code. Go him, go Jimmy. But I'm curious where this parenting will take him, because no matter how smart you are, you're gonna learn attachment styles from your parents and all these things, and they can really mess you up.
That detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17 and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18 and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19.
Wow, you can see just how angry Ren is in this scene where he is parenting and pretending to be Jimmy's father. He is angry.
But he's practically a millionaire. 18 and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns that truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself.
Oh, wow. So he is learning how to market here, how to market his products and capitalize on all these gains from other people and deceiving the world in an effort to get rich. And it all is because his father has told him money is the means to all ends and no one cares about you. And that's totally misguided parenting there.
23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 20.
Wow, so it seems like little Jimmy here is chasing his father's approval at all costs, because he's already made it big on the Forbes list, and now he's engaging in some arguably shady business deals regarding weapons, and that is a whole nother level of morality that he is giving up in effort to become rich and wealthy.
8 inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval. Moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns.
Wow, I love how quick this shift was in Jimmy's life. He was starting so strong in his career, and now he is engaging in completely criminal activities, selling cocaine, selling guns, arms deals to international entities. This is getting out of control really quick, and holy heck, I am nervous to see where this goes. It's not going to end well, I'll tell you that.
Growing kilos to tons, he's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket. 35, he gets a call. I'm sorry son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack, I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion. Heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting...
So it seems that his father's death really led Jimmy here to be unhinged. And we see this all the time. Trauma is a gateway to addiction, a gateway to escapism, a gateway to avoidance. And that's really what Jimmy's going on here about. Is he lost his dad, he didn't get his dad's approval, and now he's just trying to deal with those feelings.
Glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion. Heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward.
Wow, so he is still trying to seek out more money, more things, even though he's up there, I guarantee, in the top 1% by this point. And that's the thing about greed, it just consumes you, and Jimmy is all consumed. And there's no young Jimmy left. It's all just the worst parts of him.
A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck.
Lucky to be alive, though, given his cartel infraction. What is gonna go on here? Oh no.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city.
Wow, the idea that he has lost the 3 things he valued most as a kid. Wow, in his greed, he has lost his child self. Let's go back and listen to that again. Wow.
Just the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck for money and fame.
Wow, so he expands it here. He says it's not just Jimmy, it's me, it's you, it's everybody. We all have these tendencies for greed and this parasitic consumption that makes us take more than we need and leaves the world with less than it can offer. And that's a problem, right? We need to be mindful of our every interaction we have with consumption and being a mindful and healthy consumer, because we all have parts of Jimmy inside of us. Maybe not to that extent, but despite being in a house full of gold and having all of his material wealth at astronomical levels, he can't run, he can't do things that he used to be able to do when he was a child. And it's funny how, like you said, the perspective evolves when you get rich and you realize you climb the mountain from poor to rich and you realize money isn't everything. Money doesn't make me happy. And we know that above like basic income, 60 grand a year, money isn't going to contribute to increased happiness. It's just not. And it reaches diminishing returns. It goes down and down quickly. Let's go back and listen to that one more time here.
44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold.
I love how he's got the musical orchestral instruments behind him supporting this fiery claim here.
But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls.
That is a powerful line there. Trading money for souls. Oh goodness. As if we could put monetary value on a human life. We can't, but it's done in, high levels of politics and warfare and military. But it's so corrupt to think that way as a consumer in this culture.
Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck for money and fame. Call the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy. Community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide.
Wow. Yes, this idea that we are so divided, whether it's poor, rich, black, white, Christian, atheist, we have all of these artificial things to divide us, and it does lead to a decrease in community, a decrease in people who are there for you in a pinch, in a hard time.
Declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution?
Oh, I'm nervous. Whew.
Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface and consume till it...
I like that idea of teaching kids to not be sheep and consume and make more money than they need at the expense of other people. And it does kind of start and end in our school systems, and also with parenting, is that parents need to realize that there's more to life than money. Then there's financial stability, but then there's a point where it just doesn't matter all that much. And money sometimes does feel like the more you get, the more someone else doesn't get. And that's what he's getting at here. Is he's saying we need to be altruistic. We need to give back to people who aren't as fortunate as we are and help out the person in need. Otherwise, we are not going to survive. And that's so powerful.
Then there's no future I see where the from schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me. Then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface and consume till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise.
Right, our fate is up in the air right now. It's not certain what's going to happen to us in the future. If we're going to make it, if we're going to colonize Mars, if we're going to survive the next 1,000 years, no one knows, but we need to definitely treat each other better in order to survive.
"45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Wow. Holy smokes. So Jimmy achieved wealth, fame, did everything his dad wanted him to do, still wasn't happy, still ended up in a wheelchair. And when you are crippled from having full mobility, it's an absolute ego blow. It's so hard to be happy and healthy without functionality. And this is what we see frequently of people who established high levels of wealth are often the most tortured. They feel like they have increased suicidal thoughts. They're more depressed. And it's because the money that they have separates them from the rest of the world. If you have $1 billion, good luck making a real relationship in your life, because everyone's going to try to exploit you and take advantage of you for the monetary game, the money game. And suicidality does not discriminate upon the rich or the poor. We see frequently older people especially have higher rates of suicidality, and it's super scary to think about, but this video is so powerful. Let's watch this ending one more time here.
He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, is such a damn shame.
Wow, so he is still tortured by his dad's cruel sayings. It's such a damn shame that you didn't make it to what you could have done, right? This idea that his dad will never be happy or satiated with what Jimmy does, because that's what happens when you tell your kids to achieve money at the expense of everything else. No matter if you become a billionaire or trillionaire, it doesn't matter, because it's never going to be enough to make you happy. And people spend their whole life chasing money, and for what? To be depressed at the end of their life. And I see this all the time working with some people in similar situations.
Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Ooh. Wow. And it ends in suicide. Wow. Oh my gosh. What a powerful part 3. Ren is so talented. Thank you so much, community, for requesting Money Game Part 3. I loved it. So powerful. Such a great dialogue on modern society. And thank you so much for being here. If you have any other songs you want to see me react to, please drop them in the comments. I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. I respond to all the comments, so I so appreciate you being here. And I look forward to seeing you in the next music therapy episode.